Guys, match day. It is match day. Rangers take on Manchester United this afternoon at Murrayfield. Battle of Britain, sort of. Pre-season friendly, kind of, or definitely. And it is kind of the Battle of Britain. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation. With me, your host, Owen James. Guys, this is the channel that brings you your team every single day. We don't charge you for actually accessing the information, accessing the news, accessing the pod, accessing the live streams, whatever you want, all for free. Please just hit that sub, help the channel to keep on building. So we're going to talk a little bit of Todd. We're going to talk Rangers record as well against Manchester United as we look ahead to the game today. So we've got a bit of Todd and we've got obviously the United game as well. Look, the question is quite literally just this. What's the story, Todd Cantwell? What's the story, Phillipe Clement? What's the story, Morning Glory, as the great Oasis once sang? Well, Todd Cantwell is an enigma. He is a talent. He is a problem. He's a social media guru. Always guru the right word. He's a social media person. But look, at the end of the day, there's something going on at the club. There's something going on with Todd. There's something going on between Todd and the manager. There's something perhaps going on. There's something perhaps not 100% correct. We're going to have a little look at what's occurring in this video. Why are we talking about Todd again? No, he hasn't been posting on social media before anyone gets onto that one again. There is no latest Todd on social media. Let's just get that one 100% clear right from the off. What is it? What is the reason? Well, yesterday in his pre-match availability for today's game, Phillipe Clement spoke a little bit about Todd Cantwell, and he said that Todd Cantwell will play for the B team this weekend, which seems quite incredible and has automatically started tongues wagging, has automatically got the rumours, the stories to fever pitch as to why this could be. Now, Todd Cantwell obviously did actually play a part in the Hamilton bounce game that was played at Auchenhowie before Rangers flew out on their pre-season tour of Holland. He didn't take part in the Standard Liège game, and he didn't take part in the Ajax game. Post Ajax, Phillipe Clement was questioned as regards the unavailability on the non-appearance of Todd. And what did he say? He said that he has a few small things. Now, what is that? Is that injury? Is that mindset? What is that? What are small things? Because you would think if he was injured, he would actually come out and say, Todd is injured, he is recuperating, etc., etc. And he would say that because he has said that about players. He talked about Tav having a small knock. He talked about other players not being fully fit. He talked about having to manage players' minutes. So he has talked about that. But the only comment about Todd is he has a few small things. And then obviously you've got the end of last season incident where Phillipe Clement is seen very angrily, basically throwing Cantwell away from the referee. You've got as well him being hooked after 30 minutes against Aris. There is something not right between the two of them. Whether it's that Phillipe Clement doesn't like the social media antics, doesn't like the personality, doesn't like the character that Cantwell is. Cantwell is a character. He is an enigma. He is just one of those kind of old school footballers, one of those footballers that is as much a character off the pitch as he is on the pitch. He's someone who likes to get under opponents' skins. He's someone who's not afraid to voice an opinion. He's someone who perhaps talks a little bit too much. Now, before anyone goes on about it, I love Todd Cantwell. I think Todd's great. Todd the prod, love all that. Love the fact that he loves the club. He does quite clearly love the club. But consistency is an issue. I'm not going to pretend it isn't. Consistency is a massive issue with Todd Cantwell. At times you watch Todd Cantwell and you think, wow, this kid is top class. And at other times you watch him and you think, where was that lad who went past people for fun last week and played killer balls and finished goals superbly? Where's that gone? Why does he now look like some sort of League One, League Two English player that really struggles? I don't know. He is an enigma. He is a problem, possibly. But he is a talent. He has got an absolute massive talent. Now, the issue is if you look back across Todd's career, he's always been someone who's shown that talent, someone who's at times looked absolutely phenomenal. And when Norwich City were in the Premier League, at times Todd Cantwell looked absolutely brilliant. It even had talks of him moving to one of the big six in England. You know, him going to a Man City, a Manchester United, a Liverpool, an Arsenal, a Chelsea, a Villa, someone like a Newcastle, someone of that aspect. But then that all kind of fell away as he fell out of favour at Norwich. Why did he fall out of favour at Norwich? Well, because of his attitude. That was the reason he fell out of favour. It was an attitude issue, apparently, that caused him to fall out of favour. So, interesting one. Are we seeing a repeat of that now? Are we seeing history repeating itself in Todd Cantwell at Rangers? That he is perhaps becoming a bit of an issue, a bit of a problem child, and that's why he has been relegated to the B team. Or is it simply because he's not fit enough yet? He needs his fitness building, and then Clement sees the B team as a way to build his fitness. But then you would argue there's players probably going to be on the bench on Saturday that will then start against Birmingham, as Phillipe Clement said, who aren't match fit, who've only trained with the squad and haven't perhaps done the same amount or have done just the same amount as Todd Cantwell. It's a very interesting one. It's a fascinating one that's going to cause, until something actually comes out official about what is going on, a whole host of rumour, counter-rumour, conspiracy theory and counter-conspiracy theory as to why Todd is with the B team this weekend. Now, I know for one fact, I do think, though, that this will perhaps, I don't know, it may act one of two ways on Todd. It may kick him up the arse and make him kind of realise what he needs to do to get back into Big Phil's good books, if that's what the reason he's in the B team is. Or it might actually really damage Todd and kind of set him back. You never know with Todd. He really is that kind of an enigmatic character. Now, if we look at Todd's stats while he's been at Rangers, as a 10, he's played 64 times for the first team, scored 14 goals and 12 assists. So 26 goal contributions in 64 games, under 1 in 2. Assists-wise as well, 20-12 in 64. Goals-wise, 14 in 64. Now, yes, for some of those games, he has been stuck out on the wing. He has been asked to play out of position at times. But a lot of the time, he has been played in that favourite 10 role, that role that he likes to play. So you'd kind of feel that, you know, as a 10, as someone who's given the freedom to go where you want, to create how you want, to kind of flow all over the field, that you may, you know, look for a bigger output from a number 10. And I certainly think that, you know, as a club, we probably were looking for a bigger output from a 10. So, you know, is the output, you know, kind of been looked at by Phillipe Clement, and Clement's kind of gone, well, this is not the answer. If I'm going to play with a 10, I need someone who has a greater goal scoring contribution, which is something we do need. You know, last year midfield did not chip in anywhere near enough goals, and your number 10 is someone who does have to chip in goals. Or is it the fact that, you know, that he wants more of a playmaker, someone who's going to create more chances for the forward players, you know, and actually goal scoring chances, you know, real pure goal scoring chances. 12 assists, but then I suppose you can kind of counter that by the fact that, you know, Todd actually can create a lot of very good chances, but if it goes to, you know, players who then absolutely blaze the ball over the bar or manage to, you know, put it wide from, you know, seemingly a very simple angle, then that's something that Todd can't be held accountable for. But the goal scoring stats are certainly something he can be held accountable for. If we take his Euro stats for a minute, his Europa League and UEFA Champions League stats while at Rangers, he's played 4 times in the Europa League, scoring a single goal, and in the UEFA Champions League 4 times with a single assist. So 8 appearances, 2 goal contributions. Again, for a player who plays in that 10 role, you're probably going to want to see a little bit more output. And I think, you know, part of the issue that a lot of fans have got with Todd Cantwell is his consistency, is his ability to produce on a regular basis, is his ability to actually do the footballing thing on the park against Celtic, not the wind-up thing, not the, you know, getting in a fight with Callum McGregor thing, but actually producing something on the pitch. You know, it's just a fascinating story, this is. It really is, that he's been put into the B team. And I think, you know, this can either mean one of 3 things. Number one is it's the disciplinary thing. And that is something that has been done in the past with players. You know, when players are not perhaps pulling their weight or perhaps doing or saying things that they shouldn't, they get stuck in the B team. Second thing could be his fitness. It could be a fitness thing. And the third thing, which, you know, is kind of maybe more likely, given the fact there is sort of history of this now, and there is a kind of example of this with Sam Lammer's been booted into the B team and been told pretty much he has no future at Rangers and it's time for him to move on. Is Cantwell being put into the B team because he's following a similar path as Sam Lammer's out of the club that Clement has kind of decided to get shot, doesn't want him anymore. Could that be the reason? They certainly seem those three reasons. A, is it B, is it C? Let me know in the comments down below. It's like, who wants to be a millionaire without the four answers? And you don't win any money if you get the answer right. Sorry about that. So let me know what you think, guys. But this is a story that will run and run until something official comes out, hopefully today or on Sunday. So Phillipe Clement did also speak about the first team today, and he said that most of the starters that play today against Manchester United will play 75 to 80 minutes, which may appear to rule out Cortez and Danilo, both of whom are returning from injury. And whilst Clement said they are getting stronger, I think that Clement will continue to manage their minutes so as not to overstrain them and lead to them possibly getting injured again. He then went on to say that a lot of the players who are on the bench today will then play against Birmingham on Wednesday night. So that's going to be interesting to see who is on the bench and, the possible team you could see against Birmingham City. Now, he did speak today as well about the fact that this would be another step up in class for Rangers. Manchester United, whilst they will not bring a whole first team, we're unlikely to see Joshua Zirkzee, their new centre forward that they've signed, the Dutch international Zirkzee, who's just joined the club. He's just been away with the Euros. He'll be given a bit of extra time to kind of recuperate. Lenny Yoro, who's just joined them for, I think it's like 44 million, choosing Manchester United over Real Madrid. He's another one unlikely to figure. But, they're a club that have already spent nearly 70, 80 million pounds on players, which is just, a different world to the world that we move in at the moment. But it does seem like it will be a team of mixed between first teamers and youth teamers. Stories that the likes of Anthony, Rashford, Casemiro, Mason Mount, may well figure. Harry Maguire unlikely to figure. Apparently he has been transfer listed by Manchester United and will be is a player that apparently Erik Ten Hag wants to see the back of. Ten Hag, I think, as well, will want to see a much improved performance. Last time out, Manchester United lost 1-0 to Rosenborg, who were a lot further on in their season preparation, having already played some games this season. But Manchester United are at a similar sort of point to us in terms of preparation. So in terms of fitness and game prep and match minutes, the two clubs will be very evenly matched from that aspect. So, it's going to be a game where Ten Hag has already said that he wants to see United go up a gear. He wants to see a much improved performance from Manchester United. So it'll certainly be a tough test for Rangers, a European level test in effect for us. A real chance to kind of, some of these players that have come to the club, some of these players that that are going to be sticking around post the end of the transfer window closing in August for Rangers, to really step up and show that they can cope with the top level players, they can play against good players. One thing you can kind of guarantee is any youth team players that have come through the Manchester United system are going to be very talented footballers. They don't tend to produce complete duffers. Now, looking at the most recent history of the Manchester United Rangers games, it's not too great for us. We've played 4 times against them in recent times. Since 2003, we have not won a single game against them. We've lost 3 and we have drawn 1 in those games. So it doesn't bode overly well going into today's game. Now, in terms of those games, 2003, the 22nd of October 2003, we played a Champions League game against them at Ibrox. A team that lost, unfortunately, Manchester United did win that game 1-0 at Ibrox. A Rangers team that day that featured the legend that is Stefan Klos, Henning Berg, Zurab Kinashvili, Craig Moore, Fernando Eriksson, God rest him, Paolo Vanoli, Michael Ball, not the singer, who my daughter actually met today, Mikel Arteta, present Arsenal manager, Shota Avaladze, Peter Lovenkrands, and Michael Moles. Some fantastic names. Those young fans watching that, let me rest assured there were some very talented players on that team. Arteta, Lovenkrands, Moles, Rickson, Kloss, just some absolute class acts. The Manchester United team that day was Tim Howard, Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, John O'Shea, Mikel Silvestre, Quinton Fortune, Ryan Giggs, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, who is now the assistant manager at Manchester United. And do you know who scored the only goal of the game? Phil Neville. Can't help but feel that was a game we probably should have won with that team. The return game at Old Trafford was on the 4th of November 2003. We went down 3-0. Goals from the Uruguayan Diego Forlan and two goals from the now Manchester United assistant manager Ruud van Nistelrooy. The Manchester United team that day was a very scary looking one with Rio Ferdinand, Gary Neville, Phil Neville, Mikel Silvestre was in it, Roy Keane, Giggs, Forlan, Ronaldo, and Ruud van Nistelrooy. What a team. Our team that faced them that day was Stefan Klos, Henning Berg, Zurab Kanashvili, Craig Moore, Paolo Vanoli, Stephen Hughes, Mikel Arteta, Shota Arveladze, Peter Loverkrantz, and Michael Moles, with Capuccio, Ross, and Burke featuring from the bench. Then there was not another game between us until 2010, a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford. Very creditable 0-0 draw against them at Old Trafford. The Manchester United team that day not looking as strong as Manchester United teams of the past. Kuszczak, Brown, Ferdinand, Smalling, De Silva, Valencia, Fletcher, Gibson, Park Ji-sung, Javier Hernandez, and Wayne Rooney. Our team that day, again, I don't think anywhere near as strong as that 2003 team. Alan McGregor, Majid Bugera, Kurt Broadfoot, Sasa Papac, Davy Weir, Stephen Whittaker, Stephen Davis, legend, Maurice Edu, Lee McCullough, Kenny Miller, and Stephen Naismith. Yes, the rat that is Stephen Naismith, with the one change for Rangers being Carl Lafferty on for Kenny Miller. Then at Ibrox in the return game, we went down 1-0 on that day, which was the 24th of November 2010. I mean, again, to lose at home after holding them at Ibrox is perhaps, not the best result. Team that day: McGregor, Broadfoot, Weir, Foster, Whittaker, Davis, Hutton, McCullough, the legend that is Vladimir Weiss, Kenny Miller, and the rat Stephen Naismith. But substitute appearances from James Beattie and John Fleck. Also on the bench that day were Neil Alexander, Ross Perry, Greg Wild, and Rory Loy. The Manchester United team that day: Edwin van der Sar in goal, Johnny Evans, who we could well face tomorrow, some 14 years on, John O'Shea, Chris Smalling, Fabio Da Silva, Michael Carrick, Ryan Giggs, Nani, Paul Scholes, Dimitar Berbatov, and Wayne Rooney. So, we certainly faced some very good Manchester United teams of the past, but you can rest assured tomorrow it will be a mixture of, it will be a mixture of youth and experience. Rangers, I cannot wait to see the starting lineup today, to see how Clement goes into this game. I did have put out an idea for my lineup and what I think Phillipe Clement could go with on the podcast last night. If you didn't check out that, please go back and check that out. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered this morning. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw today. But today, for me, is not about the result. Today is about the performance. And what I need to see today from Rangers is this: a team performance, a ability to move the ball quickly and offensively. That's one thing we didn't do well last season. No sideways and backwards passive passing. I want to see a team that's starting to come together. I want to see a shape, a formation, and a sense of identity from the players. It won't be complete, but a movement towards that, progress from the last game. That's what we need to see pre-season. Constant progress. So when we hit that game on the 3rd of August against Hearts, they're in the right place to hit the ground running and win that first game. Guys, on the way out, 2 things I always ask of you. Number 1, smash that like. Number 2, remember, always, we are the people.